TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Well, we basically had a higher class of rats, basically.
That's what I was getting at.
We were going to strip clubs and pulling rats. Instead of, we walk in, we get the VIP treatment, stuck up there, and the girls will come, oh my God, you're Scotty Riggs, Mark Bagwell. Well, not, but Marcus Bagwell, and oh my God, it's Sting, it's Lex, it's Steiner. Just, they would go gaga for us, and it'd be like, hey, da da da, dance, 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 boom. Back in the hotel room, hit the strippers, and go home. Catch their flight out the next morning and leave them in the room. That's what we did half the time. They stayed, or we just had them leave. We give them cab fare and tell them to go home.
No,
it became easy when you have a little extra change in your pocket. Sure. It becomes a lot easier to play, the big pimp.
It's also easier when you're on TNT.
When you're on when you become the quasi celebrity, as we did, it's a lot easier. American males we were cheesy as all get out, but the chicks loved us. The guys hated us.
Well,
chicks loved
that
us.
was your character. You guys are basically.
You were cheese balls.
That was your outfits.
Well, we weren't. Jimmy wanted to call us the International Males, and that was there was an International Male magazine that was out real hot at the time. It had clothes and stuff in it, but it was mainly a gay clothes thing. And I actually had somebody ask me in previous interviews about, did I know that we had a huge fan base in the gay community?
Right.
No, I didn't. Because I was hitting so many girls, I didn't even think about the gay community thinking that we were hot, Because if you walked out, you'd hear high-pitched girls going, yay. And then you hear a bunch of boos because the guys hated us.
Right.
So I didn't even think about the gay community digging us. But it did. I found out later, but we had a huge fan base in the gay community.
Did you, was there ever times where you get maybe like fan mail or like have guys?
I don't know. I never got fan mail. I don't know if they got it at the office and they never gave it to us, but we used to always go by the office because the office girls loved us.
Sure.
It was Kelly and Yvonne who were two of Ric Flair's, not girls, but they would always party with them because he knew them well and stuff like that.
They were probably his girls.
No, they weren't. I know they weren't because we were also friends with. They partied with us and Alex Wright and stuff like that, and we never did anything. We always just partied. And Flair would always bring them to parties, and Flair would leave and leave them hanging with us. And Marcus never did anything with him. I never did anything with him. We were just really good party pals. That was it. Deborah McMichael hung with us and partied with us, and none of us messed with her because she's Steve McMichael's wife. But even when they divorced, she was hanging out with us, and we were best of friends. She's one of the sweethearts. Liz, Miss Elizabeth, God bless her soul, she was a party animal with us.
Right.
So she used to hang out with us. Randy hated it, but, he was with George at the time. So he always had that still protective feel over her. But she used to party with. There were girls that we partied with that were the office girls or the nitro girls and stuff like that we didn't cross paths with, even though I almost got in trouble once with one. And Bischoff reamed me out for it. Kimberly reamed her out for it. And then Kimberly reamed me out for it. And we never did anything. And then we finally said, hey, we need to do something. We can talk about that later. So we can be justified for doing this. And we'll talk about that a little bit later if you want to. But, it was those times where everything and everybody, it was almost like the whole company were friends. We all hung out together. We were doing well together. And it was the luck of everything and timing happening to be a part of where I was. So you might want to stick it to a few people that you just left, but why worry about where you left because of where you're going?
You kind of mentioned that also like Jamie might bring back more than one. Was there ever times where the American males might bring back 2, 3, 4 girls from the club?
Dude, there were plenty of times where we were running the orgy in the room.
How many girls? Most on any given night that you can remember?
God, if you had a couple of the other guys watching that were married, I'm not going to drop names because I'll protect my friends here, had friends that were watching, you probably have 4 or 5. They were showing off for them too. Okay. We'd have 4 or 5 girls that were all diddling and everything else. I still remember that one of the biggest things, we did a Germany tour. That first year of 95, with me and Marcus, we were wrestling, I think we were wrestling Public Enemy, And yeah, we were wrestling Public Enemy, and Lex and Alex were wrestling Harlem Heat. Those were the 2 tag matches. But we did a 2.5-week Christmas tour of Germany, and there were 2 German chicks that we hit like the first couple nights. Marcus couldn't get his girl to do business with the do dirty deed. I had mine naked and going to town in a heartbeat. And Marcus was like, "What are you doing? How you know?" Because he's fighting with his girl and everything else, trying to get her to go. And she didn't give up to him. Like a couple nights later, she finally did. They ended up coming to America. They followed the American Males to America. They showed up in Orlando at some TV tapings a couple of times, and we didn't give them time of day because we realized that was Germany, and they look good over there, but when they come to America, they didn't look as good.
Sure.
You know? So there were a couple of times that were like that. That yeah, the American Males, we pulled talent for some of the older guys, but we were definitely pulling more for ourselves.
So,
it was kind of our deal.
Are any of the is a Flair or God, who are some of the veterans that are around? I guess Paul Orndorff might have been around, but I don't know. No, I don't know.
No, Orndorff wasn't in that mix of it.
I'm just thinking of
Yeah.
veterans that were around, that aren't married. Are any of them ever saying, "Hey, Bagwell, Scotty, can you help us out tonight?
Yeah.
Want to send one down to us?"
Yeah, that happened a lot.
Now, do you do that or?
Yeah, dude, are you?
Now, do you
Not
take
that I'm needed to get Ric Flair a girl. If Ric Flair wants a chick or two, Ric's going to come down in a robe, butt ass naked with his shoes on and socks, and that's it.
So that's not just a
Drop the no.
You
I've
saw
seen them
this
do it
in
a
your
couple
room?
of times. Not in my room, in the bar.
Oh, in the bar.
In the bar.
Like where? Where does this happen?
It's happened in Atlanta at the Dungeon.
So
The,
what is that? It's like a nightclub or a bar?
It's a hotel. I can't remember. I think it was a Hyatt at the time. It was where everyone stayed. It was right by the airport. And God, I can't remember the lady's name. You walk in, it's downstairs. We called it the dungeon because it was downstairs. There was no lights, but there was wrestlers' pictures everywhere. We'd all sign a picture to her. Her name's begins with a D, but I can't think of her right now. But
She's
I've
like
seen
the manager of the bar?
Yeah,
Okay.
she was the manager of the bar. We'd come in, and there would be a crowd of fans there and everything else. But I've seen him do it numerous times. I mean, he did it there. He did it in Florida. He did it in San Francisco. I mean, depending on how drunk he was and then what kind of mood he was in.
So Flair's never just getting out of the, getting back from the show and just going right away. This is after a night of partying where Flair will maybe go up to the room, grab his robe, and next time you see him, he's ripping the robe open.
Yeah.
And what's the reaction? Is the guys laughing, or are they like?
Oh, we're going
in
nuts.
control
We're applauding. We're loving it. One of the funniest things in the world one night was Barbarian. Got drunk as mud, grabbed the guy, and started dancing with the guy. The guy is in fear of his life. He's petrified. I'm sure the guy is like this. And Barb is dancing with the guy. And he's making the guy dance with him.
Does he think it's a girl, or he just
I have no idea. I have no idea. All I remember is, I'm trying to remember who walked up to him. Somebody, I almost want to say it was Orndorff, but somebody older walks up to him and said, and I remember we're all like this, and it's like, "Barb, you know you're dancing with a guy. I know. He pretty. He be okay." And you can't tell Barb anything. I mean, Barb is going to do what Barb wants to do. You're not going to force him. Barb wasn't going to hurt the guy, but the guy was scared to death. We didn't know at the time if Barb was going to hurt the guy, do the guy, whatever. He's Samoan. You know what I'm saying? He's an islander. Sex to him is just sex. It's not male. It's not female. It's not goat. It's not whatever. He's going to do whatever. But he wasn't going to do anything that night. You know, it was just one of those things. Barb was just drunk. When you see Barbarian drunk, it's pretty entertaining. So things like that would happen different times, different nights. A different person would get really, really drunk and just shut her ass a little bit. Dude, there was plenty of times. I still remember the Mall of America that night. Me, Bagwell, and Alex Wright each took chicks to the upstairs bathroom all at the same time, and we're each in a stall. And somebody, I can't remember who it was, somebody was out front watching to make sure nobody came inside while we were fucking these girls in the bathroom.
So is it the Rockers, famous Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty? Of course, you know they're known. They're notorious. They would take rats back and maybe put something in the drink, and then once they get them to the room, maybe
they might have been famous for that, but the males weren't.
Okay, well hold on, I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
The Headbangers were known maybe for opening a bag and dropping some shit in it, literally.
The Headbangers?
The Headbangers.
Chaz and Mosh and,
yes.
and Thrasher?
I don't know if they
Wow.
were fucking him first, but
I didn't know that.
Yes. What's the American male's trademark with a girl?
With a girl.
Or
Giving them
girls?
cab fare to get home.
That's the trademark?
Yeah.
Come on.
When we were done, it was time to go.
Is there ever like
We didn't do any canoodling. There was no snuggling. It was, gotta go. We're done. I mean, we didn't shit in bags. We didn't house it on anybody.
How about a hot take from bed to bed? Is that any of that ever happening?
Yeah. I mean, it was bang, bang, bang. All of a sudden, it was like, hey, we just hop in the beds, and the girls would go, what the fuck y'all doing? What do you think we're doing? And pick up where you left off. Yeah, there were some double teams, some switcheroos going on. There were different times. It all depended on the motion. If I liked what I was with, and he liked what he was with, if he wanted to take her in the bathroom, you were in the bathroom, because he didn't want to be watched. Hey, do it. That's how we did our deal. He went one direction, I went the other.
Who was there any other guys in that locker room, whether it be tag teams or just singles guys? You mentioned like Alex Wright would go to the club. Is there anybody else who was on the American male's level when it comes to pulling rats around that time?
Any of those guys that were bigger than us could pull a rat in a heartbeat.
But were they getting the same quality?
Yeah.
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 Okay. I mean,
there were some overs that, again, I'm not gonna. It could have been Alex. It could have been a Stinger. They were walking to the D bar. Alex would draw girls like that. I mean, because Lex, huge blonde hair.
TitleMatchNetwork.com